Welcome to Acupuncture and Natural Health Solutions YouTube channel. My name is Toni Eatros, acupuncture physician and functional medicine specialist. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to perform the Organix by Genova Diagnostics urine collection. This one's easy. Of all the three, this is the easiest one to do. You're going to get your box like this. You're going to go ahead and right in the front thing is the requisition form. Now, if I shipped the lab to you directly, some of this might be filled out already. If you received it from me in the office, some of this might be filled out direct already, but you need to double check that it's filled out properly so that your lab specimen does not get rejected by the lab. So, this is the form here. Should have my name and information printed in the corner here. If you move on down, my signature should be here. So if you received it from me in the office, I should have signed this. If you have it shipped directly from the lab, go ahead and write signature on file on that line there. And we go down. Under billing option, this first one should be checked. Bill practitioner account. So you have paid me. The lab is going to charge me when they receive your sample in the lab. And then you're going to leave the rest of those blank. And then the bottom here, it's going to ask for an ICD-10 code. This is what we call a diagnosis code. If you received it from me in the office, it should already be filled out, and I believe the drop shipped ones as well. But if you don't know what code to put here, or if it isn't already pre-filled out, please call my office so we can get you the correct code to put in there. And my office phone number is 239-260-4566. Up top here, in this green box, you're going to write the date that your sample was actually collected. So month, day, and year, and it's a urine sample. There's your options of tests here. We're going to go ahead and do the very first one, the Organix Comprehensive Profile. So this should be checked mark right there. If it isn't, go ahead and put a check mark there. Leave the other ones on the page blank. Nothing necessary to put down in the bottom there. And we're going to go ahead and flip the form over. This is where you're going to enter your information. So this is the patient information section. And you'll put your date of birth, if you're a male or a female. You don't have to put your social security number unless you want online access to your test results. Then you will need to put that there. You'll put your name, last name, first name, middle initial, mailing address, city, state, zip, cell phone number, what race you are. So when they do urine collections, sometimes some of the values are different depending on your race. So please go ahead and put the correct race there. And then the responsible party. So that's going to be you, or if this is for a child, it'll be the parent of the child here or guardian. Now, if you live in Ohio or New Hampshire, you need to fill out your occupation, your employer, and the employer's address. If you don't live in Ohio or New Hampshire, you can leave that spot blank. The second section here, you're going to go ahead and leave blank. And the third section here in purple, you will also leave blank. So then we're at the bottom of the back of the form, and this is the patient responsible party acknowledgement. You'll go ahead and read that, go ahead and print and sign your name and date it. And that's all it is for the requisition form. So easy enough. Once you've got that all filled out, be sure that you've filled in the date that you collected your sample here. That's very important so that they know that they have a viable sample. You're going to fold that back up and you're going to stick it back in. Actually, that's not true. You're going to put your requisition form in the sample bag, not inside where the urine sample is, but on the side pouch here. You're going to go ahead and slide that in there. That's all set and ready to go. So now let's go ahead and go through what we actually need to do the sample. So what's very important is that the day before the sample, you have to restrict your fluids to no more than 3 8-ounce glasses or 24 ounces in the 24 hours prior to your sample collection. Do not drink any water after 8 p.m. the night before you're going to take your sample. We don't want a super dilute sample. We want to make sure it's concentrated so that we can get good measurements of the organic acids that are present in your sample. Before you go to bed, the night before your sample, you're going to need to find some kind of urine collection container. This is not provided with the kit, so a mason jar or something. Please make sure it's clean and dry, and then have that next to the toilet. Have that all ready to go so that you're not scurrying looking for it and miss your opportunity in the morning. Inside the biohazard bag here are your supplies that you need, and you'll see that there's a little ice pack in here. Put that in the freezer the night before your sample is going to be taken. Now, it's bedtime the night before your sample. You've got your collection jar or container all ready to go next to the toilet, and you'll want to make sure that you urinate before you go to bed that night. Now, once you go to bed for the night, if you wake up at any time in the night to urinate, please collect that urine and keep it in the container. So if you're up 1 time a night, 3 times a night, you need to collect all of that urine. And if you don't wake up at all, that's great. That's really good. You won't have any to collect. Now it's the next morning, you're getting up for the day, and you'll want to go ahead and collect all of the urine for the first urination of the morning. You're going to collect that in the same container that you collected the nighttime urines if you did get up and go to sleep. Go ahead and kind of mix that up, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take the nighttime urines and the first morning urine. It's all mixed, and you're going to use this little pipette. It just squeezes, and you're going to draw up a sample of that urine. You're going to fill it up to the 12 milliliter mark. So it's pretty high up. You're going to go all the way up to this line here, and when you have it in hand, you'll be able to see that there's little hash marks on there, and you fill it up to the 12. Do not overfill, because you're going to be freezing the sample, and we want to make sure your tube doesn't bust. So use the pipette. You have sterile urine. You're going to fill up the sample. There is some preservative in this container, so be sure you don't rinse it. Just take the lid off, fill it up. Make sure that once you're up to the 12 milliliter mark that you put the lid on very tight, and then you can discard the rest of the urine that you've collected. You will want to, on the vial with permanent marker, write your name, your first name, your last name, your date of birth, whether or not you're male or female, and the date of the collection are written on the vial. So, first name, last name, date of birth, gender, and the date of the collection are all written in permanent marker on the vial. It's best to do this before you put the urine in. Make sure the lid is screwed on tight, and then you're going to go ahead, put the filled vial in the biohazard container. You're going to throw your pipette away, and you're going to make sure that the absorbent pad is also in that biohazard bag. Now, you should have a frozen ice pack that's already been frozen because it's in the freezer overnight. You'll want to add that as well to the biohazard bag. So inside the bag is your tube with your name, date of birth, gender, date collected, the absorbent pad, and the frozen ice pack. Now squeeze all the air out of that, and you need to stick this in the freezer. Excuse me. It needs to be in the freezer for at least 2 hours before FedEx picks it up. Now, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to call FedEx after it's frozen, but when you're talking to the representative, kind of get an estimated time of arrival and make sure that you've had at least 2 hours in the freezer before you pack up your kit, because this needs to be frozen and it's going to be shipped overnight so that the sample is still good. Now your 2 hours are up, your sample is frozen, you have your sample, your absorbent pad, your ice pack, all of which is frozen, and you have your requisition form, very important, stuck in the side here. So just like that, it's all set to go, and you'll go ahead and open your box back up. So don't get rid of that the night before. You're going to place your sample and the requisition form and the ice pack in the biohazard bag into the box, and you're going to close it up. Inside the box, you will see that you have a prepaid FedEx envelope. You're going to go ahead and put the box with its contents into the FedEx envelope like that, and you'll have a FedEx billable stamp here. This is how you're going to get it to the lab without having to pay for it. Now, it is a purple here. It's a purple FedEx label, and it's being shipped to Atlanta. So you want to make sure that you put your information, you put your information in the from box. Write the date, your name, address, and telephone number in the from section on the right-hand side of the FedEx billable stamp. Do not make any other changes to the billable stamp, and do not sign the release signature area. You're going to then peel off the adhesive backing on the stamp, and you're going to fix it, adhese it to your FedEx envelope. Your sample requires overnight shipping, so you can call FedEx any day, Monday through Friday, to pick up the sample. Now, if there's some type of FedEx holiday, don't mail your sample before that. Wait until the holiday is over. Otherwise, make sure you've sent it 2 or 3 days before the holiday, just to be sure it gets where it's going and you don't have to go through this process again. So you can do this test Monday through Friday, as long as it's picked up Monday through Friday. Your sample needs to be in the mail with FedEx at least within 24 hours of the sample being collected. So ideally, you'll take your morning collection, freeze it for 2 hours, and get it off in the mail that same day. Be sure that you have reduced or limited your intake of fluids the day before, so it's going to take a little bit of planning. If possible, drop your package off at the closest FedEx drop-off center. If there's no center available to you, you can call 1-800-463-3339 to schedule a pickup. And you'll just be prompted what to do on the FedEx telephone. All right, so there's a little fluorescent green checkoff sheet. So you're getting ready to mail, just double check. Your name and phone number are on the requisition form. Your date of birth and gender are on the requisition form. The test is properly marked, so it's that top test, the Organix comprehensive test. And my name is written on the other side there. And be sure that on that requisition form, you wrote in that green spot on top of the first page the date that your sample was actually collected. Also double check that the vial that your frozen urine is in has your first and last name, your gender, date of birth, and the date that the sample was collected. Please be sure the lid is on tight for your sample so that there's no spillage and you don't have to redo the test. If any of this information is missing, the lab will reject your sample and we will have to start over. It's a pretty easy test. Read through, do some planning. Be sure you restrict your fluids. You do not have to stop any of your supplements. You can if you want, but you don't have to. It's going to tell us so many things. I'm really excited you're doing this test. It can be a life changer. It's great for prevention. It's great for determining inflammation, catabolic stress, oxidative stress, and insulin resistance. All of the 4 horsemen. If you have questions about that, you let me know. I'm going to be doing a podcast and a YouTube video that talks in depth as to why somebody might want to do this Organix test. But you're watching this video because you've already purchased it. So congratulations. As soon as I get the test results back, I will give you a call and we will get you scheduled so that we can review in detail your test results and the treatment plan. Congratulations again. Please reach out to my office if you have any questions. I'd rather you get clarification than to do it and have to redo it. If you can't get a hold of me for some reason, you could also call the Genova lab and they will walk you through step by step what you need to do. Thank you again for visiting Acupuncture and Natural Health Solutions YouTube channel. I'm Toni Eatros, and for now, I bid you farewell.